very warm welcome to our very distinguished delegates, and I would say the star of the show, whom we've just awarded with this honor, and I would request all of us to give him a standing ovation. Thank you very much, sir. Our most distinguished participants here, my old friend and colleague, Dr. V.K. Garg, Dr. N.B. Mazumdar, His Excellency Mr. Bruce Ralston, His Excellency Mr. Arana Correa Dialogo, all the Dr. Anil Garg, and all the other distinguished participants online and offline. It is our pleasure here to invite you to an event and make you participate in this two-subject event. And I think both subjects have been extremely relevant in recent times. And thanks to technology, it has been possible for us to integrate speakers from across the globe, and I think through a medium which itself is improving sustainability and avoiding unnecessary travel. And I think this is one of the wonders of technology, that today we are able to save time, we are able to save on aviation fuels, other transportation fuels, which are all fossil fuel based, and of course the vehicles in which we travel, that what Dr. Mazumdar talked of, the circular economy. And I think this is a great blessing which has got perfected through one crisis. It's a crisis which moves civilization to find an answer. I think the COVID was a horrible pandemic, but one positive thing it left behind was that connectivity and needless travel have, I think, been taken care of in many a case. Of course, there is no substitute to physical meetings and assurances and our contacts. But this great ability to connect with the world and find innovative solutions, I think, is the need of the hour, and that is what we need to do to find these solutions. I've had the privilege of meeting people in the course of my service career, distinguished people talking about polluting the environment and how the environment is to be saved, but they've all traveled by air. And how much pollution they may have caused, if that was a very embarrassing question. But then, yes, if travel is necessary, it should be done, but all travel, particularly by our fast modes, is polluting so far. Now, we've had the distinction of having two very distinguished countries, friends of India, Canada, Brazil, and a third will join us soon, Japan. All three countries in which I've had the personal privilege of visiting, collaborating with them, and I can say that Brazil is a country which has found its own unique solutions to its energy problems. The hydro sector and ethanol. I visited them when I was working with the Ministry of Power as well as with the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. And I know how they have utilized their natural resource, whether through a huge dam like the Itapu Dam or ethanol, blending. And as a young child in Delhi, I remember that the first ethanol-based automobile, I think introduced by General Motors, way back and shown here at the present Pragati Maidan, was from Brazil. Now, they've been working on it. It's a great thing, and I salute them for this great work. Again, Canada, a wonderful country endowed with excellent natural resources, working on those resources and harnessing them. We use a word, exploiting. I think it's a bad word. We have to harness what we have for the betterment of mankind. And Japan, from where our colleague will just join us in a short while, again, a great country of innovation and a great country for economizing and calculating to the last decimal what it costs and how it can be improved, a symbol of efficiency. And efficiency is the most important thing, I think, in any process. To do it most efficiently, whether an examination from some of the academia present here, or for performance of a job. Ladies and gentlemen, our colleague here talked very appropriately of the different colors of hydrogen. Hydrogen is the holy grail today. We're all pursuing, both begin with the word H. 7 different colors. Sometimes it baffles me. Human race also has been divided into colors, hydrogen also into colors. And I think we've got to be a little careful in that. In this process of trying to produce green hydrogen, as Dr. Mazumdar pointed out, we may not end up creating more problems in places. And the other point to watch out is that in this process of energy transition, we should not be enhancing the inequalities in the world. Because when we are moving rapidly towards new industrial revolutions, we may be in the process of leaving behind some who cannot catch up, who are catching up, but then what happens? Shifting games, shifting the rules of the games, it can cause a lot of confusion. Where those who are better equipped, who are economically better off, will ironically continue to perpetuate themselves. I'm not talking of countries even, I'm talking of members within a society also. That is what I think we have to be careful of. There was talk of sustainability. I thought I'll try and integrate the two ideas today. And circular economy. There are geographical characteristics of each country and each civilization. Some country is an island, the other is landlocked, other may be on a mountainous area. But over a period of time, civilizations had found their own way of sustainability through the wisdom of mankind. In our effort to try and bring the whole world towards one mode of adoptions of technology or energy or material use, I think we've ended up creating huge inequalities. And this most wonderful term which I respect, a circular economy, is, I think, a word which is relevant to each society. And it may vary from society to society. You cannot have one size fitting all. You cannot have one technology or one solution fitting everybody. And this effort to try and force the others to adopt your mode of facing a crisis is, I think, can cause more problems. We thought that we are very wise. The technological revolution, the industrial revolution changed the world. Yes, there were inequalities in the world in the old feudal system. But where democracy existed, wherever it did, in whichever form, the inequalities were not so rampant. Today, if we are trying to force others to adopt a certain lifestyle, as I'm saying, we are, I think, going to create more problems. The ultimate solution, in my view, lies, particularly in the second part of our event today, is to find solutions which are relevant to that particular habitat. That is, we've got to ultimately work towards sustainable habitats. Within a diverse country like India even, which has forest regions, which are desert regions, which are highly flood-prone regions, very cold regions, each habitat has its own solution to sustainability. And to find a uniform solution to everything, I think we may get off track. So I would say that the unit of management of this environment has to be a unit of society or a habitat which we can say has common characteristics, and over the wisdom of ages, they had found solutions. In this very hall, some years ago, we had a program on sanitation. We said, yes, we provide wet toilets to everybody all over the country. I asked a question of the proponents of that program. Where is the water for those wet toilets? Is it available everywhere? And what are you doing to that wet waste? All that we are doing is not in my backyard, shove it into somebody else's backyard. I have an intimate contact with the rural sector, and I've been going there since childhood. Yes, societies were there. They were not exposed to the modern ideas or something elsewhere, but they were self-contained, they were satisfied. And they found, you see, animal waste, human waste was no problem. They'd found their own solutions. So when Dr. Mazumdar talked of a circular economy, I looked at it that way, that we had sustainable habitats. We made them unsustainable, highly dependent on imports from somewhere. Say the present oil crisis has shown that. And a prosperous region like Europe, 2 or 3 years more of war, may unfortunately teach them what living close to poverty line is. When you become highly dependent on a commodity which you do not produce, which you do not somehow manage its movement globally, starting from a human being, you will land in problems someday or the other. You cannot find individual solutions to your problems of blood pressure or something like that. It's the way you live, a holistic way. It's only if that healthy living can produce a healthy human being. You just can't treat one particular ailment and ignore the others. So it's that holistic thinking which I thought from Dr. Mozumdar's excellent talk that we've got to think about. Electronic waste. Also your battery waste. Unless there is a solution, as they say, from womb to tomb, I call it, we should not okay a technology. We're only handing down the problem to another area or to another generation. So that, I think, is something that we've got to keep in mind. This conference, of course, will provide some excellent insights into areas of individual excellence and performance in attaining these goals towards going towards a hydrogen economy, for example. It's a great challenge for scientists. And many scientists, I know particularly Fraunhofer Institute, I've been watching their achievements for nearly 2 decades. They've done excellent work in the foremost frontiers. They should continue to do that. But my honest feeling is, at this stage in life, is that we should not force a single solution on everybody else. He has his own problems, his own methodology of handling it. As long as that society is a sustainable habitat, I think that may be a more worthwhile solution. Each area, even in their kind of sustainability that we're living, we've got to see that how can improve the efficiency of those processes. There was talk of utilizing plastics on roads. Just one word of caution. Village roads were never made of oil-based materials. They never had potholes. One of my first postings as head of the urban development in a neighboring city of Faridabad, way back in the 70s, I found that Faridabad roads were full of potholes. The answer was simple. When the water went down, the macadam went up. Water will find its way down in density and create the potholes. Now, building materials have to be such that I think, particularly for road transport, that, sorry for raising this point because it was raised here, that in my view, the density should be such that water should drain off and not try and find its way to the bottom. If it finds its way to the bottom, it's going to shove everything above it. So that aspect, I think those kinds of solutions, that has to be kept in mind. And sir, again, integrated thinking in road building, drainage is a must. It's not necessary just to build a road and surface it properly. So these are some of the thoughts I thought I'd leave you with. You're going to have excellent technical sessions, very, very learned people, and some ignorant people like me may also learn something, carry it with them, and we look forward to experts meeting, finding solutions, but my only prayer is sustainable solutions and sustainable prescriptions. Thank you very much, sir.